Hi everyone, welcome back to Sunday Self-Care and Spicy Reads. We're on episode 4 now. I don't actually think there's many of you watching it, but to any of you that have or do, I'm very grateful. Thank you. So this week we're going to be doing some skincare because I've neglected it for a while and it's starting to show. This week I thought that the book I would talk about is going to be the one that I have literally just finished. I postponed filming this to sit and finish the book and I'm glad I did. So I just want to start off by saying the book it's called A Tongue So Sweet and Deadly. I know, right? It sounds how it sounds. It was such a good book. So it is a Fae book. It is your official spoiler warning. If you haven't read the book, pause the video, archive it, bookmark it, save it for another day, go read the book, then come back. But only read the first one because I haven't read the second one yet. And I'm too impatient. We're going to dissect what's happened in the first book. Let's get into it, shall we? So I have a foot mask to do first. I hate putting them on, but I love it once they're done. I've got a honey and almond and some oil one, but I think I'm going to go with a honey and almond one. I'm not going to show you that because who wants to see that? No. But they're like little booties, which is just adorable. Oh, but I have to cut them into separate booties. So one moment and we're done. Right, let's chuck these on, shall we? So A Tongue So Sweet and Deadly. It really sounds like a dark romance book, doesn't it? But it's not. It's a Fae book. It's set in a world, I guess you could say, where there is the Fae and the humans are split. There obviously is half Fae, there is half humans. And there's also another being called Shifters. But they're just like a presence that's known in the book. They're not actually in the book. Starts off with Lessia. I had to ask ChatGPT how to say her name because I was like, what? She calls herself Lessia. Not Alicia, she calls herself Lessia. So she runs a tavern with her friends. She's got a gift. She's blood oath to the Fae King, and essentially obviously is making her do things that she doesn't want to do. He's got to call in a favour, and it's been 5 years after she's accepted the blood oath that he then decides, okay, we're calling in this favour. It's after 5 years of her like, when is he going to do it? Is he going to do it? When's he going to do it? He eventually calls it in this blood favour. Okay, I'm getting cozy. I can get cozy too. I'm going to tell this like a story time, okay? So she's in her tavern. She has like a little scuffle with some rowdy guy in the bar. It's her bar, by the way. And she uses her blood oath on him to make him do what she wants him to do. And then this other guy, like dark, shadowy man presence. I know that you all thought it was Zayden then. I know you did, and if you didn't, go and read Fourth Wing right now, babe. Now, so this shadowy man like sits next to her, and she's like scared, and she feels like he's oiling magic all over her. She's a bit scared. Do you know what I mean? She doesn't like this man at all. She's okay. He's like, he takes the mick out, and he's like, oh, I thought that you would have used your magic for something more than just free drinks. And she's like, whatever. She's made a reputation of herself as basically a bit of a tart, which isn't actually true at all. She actually doesn't sleep around at all. She just wants everyone to think she does. I'm not really sure why you would want that, but she does. Okay, so she does. As it progresses a bit more, you realise that the inky, dark, Fae man that sat next to her in the bar and she's a bit scared of is basically her guardian from the king. So the king sent her away. He's like, you go flip and stay over here until I tell you I need you to do something for me because of the blood oath. he sent 3 or 4 different guys, like soldiers, to watch over her and make sure she's not doing anything she shouldn't be, yeah? But with her gift, she manages to get these men away. Well, this one that's been sent, Merrick, his name is, he is able to basically avoid her gifts, okay? So she can't send him away. She can't make him go away. He's also had to punish her quite a few times. And by punish her, I mean like what you'd expect in a fantasy book. Not nice. And she's obviously petrified of him. She doesn't like him. Like, he instills fear in her, which is fair enough. He's like giving dark, broody, meany vibes, okay? He is giving I have no emotions, don't fuck with me vibes, okay? Where have we seen that before? Every male main character ever, okay? You think he's the villain, don't you? You do. You're not actually not wrong. He is the villain. King says, hey, listen, you go do this for me. Somebody has been doing some shit and I want to find out who's been doing it. You go and infiltrate these elections for me and I'll let you off the hook. That blood oath is, consider it gone, babe. Consider it gone, yeah? So she's like, okay. Oh, fine. Okay, I can make this work, okay? Ever the positive. Ever the optimist. No pessimists over here, okay? So she goes and she puts herself up, obviously, to nominates herself. That's the word we're looking for, Gemma. She nominates herself. And she has to have a companion come with her. So somebody, basically like a guard. She has to have a soldier or someone to watch her back while she's here, yeah, because she has to go and stay at this castle for 3 months with all the other nominees. And she chooses her best friend, one of her best friends. The other one gets really pissy about it. Irrelevant. That one was the obvious choice. She chooses her best friend. Except when they get there, who turns up just as she's about to announce, oh, Ardo is going to be my companion. Merrick, he's like, the fuck he is. I'm her companion. And she's like, no. Yep, the king sent me. The king sent me. Okay, so you're like, fuck this guy. She's petrified of him. He's also beaten her up several times before this has happened that we're aware of. And you think, ugh, great, lovely. So she's not safe at all then. First part of the trials, everybody's really horrible to her. They're disgusting. They're extremely spiteful to her because she's half fae, half human. But the humans treat her like she's full fae and the fae treat her like she's full human. Yeah, so she doesn't fit in anywhere. Okay, and then she has to go stay in a cabin with all the other nominees in the middle of the woods with no food for 2 weeks. No food, no water, no nothing, no heat, no nothing, yeah? Now think like pre-electric times. Like we're talking like way, way, way back, yeah? This is how this is set. So obviously they just got to make a fire, yeah? It's not like turn on the heat and no, they have to make fires. But there's no firewood. They've deliberately been set up to, they have to try. The whole idea of these, like the proceedings they have to go through for this election is to be able to prove to their people that they can endure everything that happened to their people during the war that was God knows how long ago, by the way. But they have to be able to prove that they're in a position of power, that they can go through everything that their people went through during the war and they can overcome it with the head held high. And one of the first tasks is that they had to flee to cabins in the woods with nothing but the clothes on their back and fend for themselves, basically. So they've had everything else stripped back. Like there's not even one log for the fire in there. There's nothing. So the 2 weeks go by. One of the guys has she has a little to do with. There's the tall, dark, handsome one in the corner giving her eyes, and she's like, why does he hate me? And I'm there like, babe, he doesn't hate you. He does hate her, but like enemies to lovers, like, does he really hate you? Probably not. So it's fine. yeah, they get out of that. I'm not going to tell you everything that happens there. I mean, you've read it anyway, but, you know, like, we'll leave it to the imagination. I know some people refuse to read a book unless they kind of had it spoiled for them. So she makes it through that, and then she obviously goes back. As they go back, like, her and Locke become more and more entangled is the word I'm going to use here. Locke is the current regent, so he's the current, like, leader, whatever you want to call him. They call it regent, so he's the current regent at the moment, and she's nominated herself to be the next regent, which is what the king wanted her to do. So he's all arrogant, he's a bit of a dickhead, but, like, we're kind of here for it, do you know what I mean? We're here for it, so it's fine. I'm going to put on a paw strip. Her and Locke start to get a bit closer. She keeps trying to push him away, and she's like, why are you so interested in me? Like, fuck off, basically, even though she's, like, across the room at him, and he's deliberately, like, pulling off his shirt and stuff because he wants her to look. Okay, he's also silently protecting her, but, like, trying to full on pretend it's for his own interest, and I'm here like, you're not fooling me, you're not fooling me. They start to fall for each other. He keeps telling her he's just intrigued by her. He knows that she's keeping a secret, and he's going to figure out what that secret is. And she's like, no, you won't. Mostly because she's literally blood oathed to the king, and her throat literally restricts whenever she tries to tell anyone about it. Like, you're not getting it out of her, babe. That's not happening. Locke are getting closer and closer. And his right-hand man says to her, like, you need to stay away from Locke. He's not a good guy. Like, 4 different people say to her all in one day, stay away from Locke. But what does our girl do? Does she stay away from him? Does she fuck? No. No, she's like, I hear what you're saying, but I'm going to go do that instead, okay? But thank you, though. Thanks for caring, okay? And then she hears Locke talking to his right-hand man, and he's like, this is through the door, yeah, this is your typical, like, misunderstanding moment. He's like, oh, she's nothing but a means to an end to me, like, this is all business. She then tries to walk away, makes a big loud bang crash wallop. Proper cinematic movie scene right here, yeah. She runs out of the castle. She's like, oh my god, I feel so stupid. Like, this is the first time I have ever let myself fall for someone or start to fall for someone. This shit happens. Like, no, fuck this. So she walks out of the house, yeah. She's fuming. This castle, sorry. It's not a house. She runs towards the woods, because it's obviously right by the woods. Why wouldn't it be? She's petrified of the dark, by the way, but she runs there anyway. And he runs out after. He's like, listen, no, you misunderstood me. Like, let me explain. They get bombarded because dun dun dun, there's been another fucking spy in the midst the whole time, and someone has been attacking everyone left and right, but random. It's strategic, but it's not strategic at the same time. Well, these hooded, cloaked figures jump out, and they go to attack, yeah. Locke stood right there as well, and she's like, shit. So Locke doesn't know what her power is, and she does not want him to know. She's thinking, what the hell am I going to do right now? Well, kerfuffle happens, and just as she is about to be pushed off of a cliff, Merrick arrives. Remember her right-hand man? But he's not really her right-hand man, because he's actually her terrorizer, ordered by the king to do so. Yeah, he's the king's man, but he's there to be her guardian, yeah? Yeah, well, he arrives, and he is literally called the Death Whisperer. So, yeah, he does that, and he saves her. But in the process, he's just completely outed the pair of them as traitors to Locke. And Locke's like, I knew there was something off about you. I knew it. So she has to use her little magic, a bibbidi bobbidi boop, and correct the situation. Well, she's then obviously riddled with guilt, because why wouldn't you be? Because she started to like him and she just had to do something she really didn't want to do to him, but she did it anyway because she's blood oath to do it. Merrick's like, oh, it's okay, like, you did what you had to do. And you're like, hold on a second, you're being nice. You're not actually a bad guy, are you? Okay, I saw that. I saw that little comment there. Keeping an eye on you. She kind of brushes that off a little bit. Anyway, her and Locke continue to get closer and closer. Locke takes her out on a date. He takes her to his other place, his other home, secret hideout. He's like, come join my inner circle. You remember Reese taking Feyre to Valaris for the first time, and you're like, oh, he's letting her in. I will never stop making Akatar references. I think I've done it in all 4 episodes of this. I'm sorry, except I'm not sorry. Yeah, so he starts to like let her in, and she's standing on the balcony with him. You're thinking, oh my god, this is the moment where they enemies turn to lovers. Oh my god. And then she gets the tug on the blood oath, and you're like, fuck, God's sake. Did this happen to me when it was already 1:20 in the morning and I told myself I'd go to sleep after that chapter because they were just about to become lovers and I could handle waiting until the morning to find out what happened afterwards, as long as they became lovers? Yes. Did they not then become lovers and I had to stay up later? Yes, that also happened. I'm flipping stupid. Anyway, so she goes to the king. The king gives her now more direct instructions because she's been trying very hard to disobey his orders without actually doing so, because his orders were very vague. She's like, you wasn't specific. And if you read Fae books, you know that quite a lot of the books, they talk about like the way their language and like roll off the tongue, and there's a loophole to everything and all of the rest of it, yeah. So she's using that logic, yeah. Well, he gives her more specific instructions this time. So she's like, oh shit, okay, fair enough then. So she has to go back and start trying to be a spy again, find out more, except the person she's got to find it all out from is Locke. And obviously she's starting to catch feelings, so she doesn't want to do that. Nope, she don't want to do that. Anyway, the trials carry on. She keeps going through it all and they get closer and closer and closer. There's more attacks as well. So there's more of these attacks coming from these other spies. Now, let me make it known, it's not Lessia and it's not Merrick that are doing these attacks. However, she does get caught in one of the attacks and the attacker goes to attack her. He freezes when he sees her face and backs away. And then the second time, there's another attack. The attacker actually goes for her again. Like, he actually goes for her and she's like, and then she's told by somebody else, oh, you're no longer off limits anymore. And she's like, by who? But who said that? The guy won't tell her. Ominous, very ominous, okay? You gotta wait till the end to find out who that was. And because I'm evil, you gotta wait too until I finish, okay? It'll ruin the story otherwise. Oh yeah, they keep getting close. Locke and Lessia. He then says, oh, I want to take you somewhere. Let's go away for a couple of days. Like, let's just run away. Let's run away. Let's go. Let's be together. Let's run away for a couple of days. We'll ignore all of this. She's like, are you stupid? Like, Merrick's not going to let me do that. Like, this man's keeping me on a tight leash. We've got adjoining rooms. Like, that's not happening, yeah? That's not happening. Merrick's like, you should go. I'm sorry, what? And at this point, I'm still full on fighting for Merrick to be like this big fat baddie that's gonna be the one that she falls in love with, like full on bad guy turned lover. No. He's like, yeah, you should go. Yeah, go. So she goes with Locke. He won't tell her where they're going. He takes her to the place where he grew up, which are like, oh, swoon. They obviously get very, very close, even more close. They have lovely moments there. It's all it's giving the 4th book of Avatar all over, like sweet little in between, like, oh, let's stay in this little bubble while we can moment. Yeah. Obviously the bubble has to burst at some point, doesn't it? Yeah. So one of his guards turn up, yeah, and he's like, she's got to come back with me. One of Locke's guards. She wakes up in the bed and she's like, where the when the fuck is Locke? Like, did he just hit it and quit it? Like, because he brought me here and I don't know the way back. Excuse me. No, he's downstairs. She goes down there and his guard's like, yeah, you got to come back, like, now. Now. So he says, oh, we found the traitor. Her heart's like, boom, boom, boom. She's thinking, oh, shit, he knows I'm a spy. He knows I'm the spy. He doesn't know that she's the spy. He knows about the other spy that's actually causing all the attacks, yeah? He knows who it is. He tells her who it is. It's one of the other candidates, the one who's been giving her little hints and tips. And he's like, oh, you're off limits. Oh, no, you're not off limits anymore. That candidate, it was him. But there was one other person with him, and she's like, oh, okay. So they leave, and he's being weird as hell, yeah. Weird as hell. She's like, something's wrong. Like, what's going on? I don't understand it. Like, he won't meet my eye. Like, he's hugging me like I'm gonna just vanish out of his arms. Well, she gets back, yeah. And they drag her down to the dungeons. Everybody, like, the committee for this whole regent thing. And she gets there, and she's like, what's going on? Her best friend's there. Yeah, her best friend, Amelise, her best friend Amelise is there. And you're like, what is going on? Well, Amelise is crying, like, Lessia's like, what's going on? Like, just calm down. Merrick's like, listen, I can't go with you. They won't let me go with you. But I'm so sorry. Like, please promise me you'll stay calm. Promise me you'll stay calm. And she's like, why? What's going on? Like, tell me what's going on. Locke's trying to usher her down the stairs. So are all the guards. She's like, what the? Can someone just tell me what's going on? No one will tell her. Merrick's like, listen, it's okay. Just promise me, swear to me you'll stay calm. So she's like, I swear. She gets down there. She sees Amelise crying. Amelise is like, you don't even know, do you? Like, you haven't got a clue, have you? You don't know shit. And she's like, tell me what's the matter. She's like, the traitor. And she's like, who the? Can someone fucking tell me what's going on? Amelise is like, turn around. So she does, and she sees their best friend. You know, the one that I said was meant to be her companion, Ardo, the one that she took all the way to the castle before Merrick turned him away. Yeah, Ardo's in the cell. Yep. What do you mean? Why? That's obviously wrong. Someone's obviously set him up. He didn't do that. He's not the spy. He's not been killing people. No, not him. Yeah, it was him. Her last trial is she either has to sentence Ardo to be executed, like now, like 10 minutes time, babe, say the word, we'll do it in 10. So we're all ready to go, the guillotine's ready, waiting on you. Or she has to banish Amelise, her other best friend, forever from Elo, where they live. She's like, what the fuck? She chooses to banish Amelise and says, like, it's fine, like, we come up with a plan. We've got a plan, we've sussed it, don't worry, like, at least this way no one's got to die. Yeah? So they're like, okay. Then there's this big, massive ball that she's obviously like, well, I don't want to go to. Merrick's like, listen, you're free tomorrow. Your blood oath ends tomorrow. Like, it's fine. We can get through this shit. And they formed a good friendship. Yeah, he's still very secretive. But she's found out he's got a tattoo on his arm the same as hers. He's blood oath as well. So she's like, oh my God. Same boat. Let's be friends. So they've formed a bit of a companionship. However, there's obviously a lot they can't share with each other because of the actual bond, yeah? That's fine. We can work with that. Still slightly praying that they'll be the lovers, even though Locke's been great. He's been great. But, like, he doesn't have the powers that Merrick has. Like, Locke's left a dress out for her. Beautiful dress, but she can't wear it because it's short sleeve, and she won't wear it because that means her tattoo will be out on show of the blood oath mark, and Locke's gonna know, so is everyone else. And Merrick's like, I knew this was gonna happen. He pulls out a pair of silk gloves, and you're like, oh, my heart. Merrick gives her the gloves. He's like, oh, the king's brother's gonna be here, by the way. And she's like, what? Which brother? Because she's got some demons in the closet from her past, what she ran away from, yeah. And Merrick says the guy's name, and she's like, freezes, petrified. She looks honest to God, like she's gonna vomit from the name that he's just said. And you're like, wait, why? Now we know that she was tortured in the cells before she had the blood oath, so I was like, oh, my brain went straight to, this guy beat her up. This guy beat her up. No, you're not ready. I mean, you've obviously read it, so you are ready because you know, but I wasn't ready for the revelation that the king's brother is actually her dad. Yeah, but because of her powers and what she did to him, him and her mum and her sister, he then walks her down to the ball. Yeah, he walks her down all cutesy like, and when he gets there, he lets go of her arm and lets her walk with Locke. He just hands her off to Locke, and I was like, no, stay. He has no idea who she is, so that's great. So he talks to her and he's like, oh, you look familiar. Do I know you? She's like, no. No, you don't know me. Absolutely not. Don't know who you are. Sorry. Merrick gets pulled off to the side by her dad, and Merrick like stiffens, and there's like a whole moment where he's like looking between her and the king's brother, and he's like, hold on a second. He clocks. He's like, wait, that's your fucking dad. And she like grabs his arm before her dad pulls him out for a conversation, but doesn't say anything. She just freezes, and he like squeezes her hand back, and she goes, I know he's not going to tell him. And then Locke, she has a moment with Locke. Locke's like, I want you to stay here with me, and I want you to rule LA with me. Like, I think I'm going to win again. There's, like, let's be fair, babe. At this point, it's just her and him in the elections, yeah? Everybody else has dwindled out, like, Hunger Games style. And she's like, it's just them two. He goes, I want you to rule LA with me. In her heart, like, she dumps out of her skin. She's like, what the hell? Like, she's obviously lying to him. She's used her powers to like make him forget that she was the spy, and she feels guilty as hell. She's like, he's gonna hate me when he finds out, like, we know. So she's like, I need a breather. She gets up, she runs out of the room. She can hear him following her because she's half fae and he's a whole human. She's able to like run away a bit better. She like makes her steps as light as possible, runs away from him, yeah? And while she's running away, she stops and like uses her fae hearing to see if she can hear him following her. No, she hears Merrick and her dad having a private conversation, and all she hears is the end of the conversation. And he's like, her dad goes, they're down in the cellars. Merrick's like, yeah, okay. And then you better hurry up. And then Merrick senses her there. How? Is it a potential mate bond? Am I hoping for a mate bond? They haven't been mentioned in this book at all, so I don't even know if there is mate bonds, but I'm still hoping there's one between her and Merrick. Anyway, he like forces the king to rush past, the king's brother, her dad, to rush past her, like where she's hiding, and he doesn't give away her position. So you're like, okay. And then, he, just as she goes to walk out, he like brings her around. She runs into his, like, she goes to walk and ends up like literally barricaded in his arms, like, you know, when they do the whole, she's slammed into a rock hard wall of the chest. Yeah, it's that moment. Okay, so that happens, and he's like, were you eavesdropping? And she's like, no, like, not intentionally, no, I didn't hear anything. He's like, yeah, you did. And then he disappears on her, takes her back to her room. Just before Merrick dropped her off at her room, Merrick's like, listen, I need to tell you something. She's like, what? And he's like, your dad's daughter, so her sister, she's not dead. She thinks she killed her sister. She's not dead. She's like, what? And he's like, I can't tell you anything, but I know that she's not dead, okay? So she's like, oh my god. So she's like walked around for like 13 years with this guilt on her that she thinks she killed her sister. She did not. So she's like ecstatic when she goes in the room, locks in her room. So she's not even had 5 minutes to breathe. Like, he's just asked her to stay and live with him and rule with him. And then she catches her dad and Merrick talking. her best friend is the spy, her other best friend's being banished, like the oath of the king's about to end, she knows the king's coming tomorrow, like everything's all happening all at once. This poor woman, yeah. Well, Locke's in her room and he's like, listen, I didn't mean to scare you earlier, like, and then he explains like all of the problems that she's got about why she can't be with him. Like, her friends have to flee, like one of her friends has just been banished, the other one is standing trial, like it's not gonna work, love. He literally puts water over the flame of every different problem she's got, and he's like, so what do you say? And she's like, yes. Okay, yes. She's in a good mood, she's in a good flipping mood. Okay, well, she starts crying and he's like, are they happy tears, or like, I can't tell what's wrong with you. Them two are good. He's like, so is that a yes? She goes, yes. The following morning she wakes up, he's not there, and she's like, oh, okay. So she gets up, she's like, I got loads to do today, like I'm in a good mood, everything's done and dusted today, like the election was drawn overnight, I'm in a good mood, let's go, like I'm free today, I'm gonna figure out a way to save my friend, I'm gonna be with Locke and my sister's alive, life is good. Yeah, it's not, yes, not. Locke's right hand man is there when she goes down the hallway, and he's like, oh, Locke won, Locke's gonna be the regent again. And she's like, oh my god, like my mood just got better. And he's like, I'll go and see him in his office, like he's gonna want you there when it's announced. She's like running down there, like trying to make out like she's all nonchalant, but she's legit running. Yeah, she gets to his office and she runs in and she's like, Locke, I just heard. And she goes, oh, the king's in there. Locke will not look at her, he won't look at her. And she's like, I can explain, like straight away, like, oh, the king's in his chambers. Yeah, the king's there with her dad, who obviously doesn't know that's his daughter. The king obviously does. Yeah, I'm pretty sure the king does, actually. That's not been mentioned. I don't know if the king actually knows. There is a mention of how much she looks like the king and his brother, and that it would be obvious to anybody that looked at them. But anyway, the king's there and he is outing her dirty little secret as his spy. Locke's pissed. Like, this man's fuming. Rightly so, obviously, because he's fallen in love with someone that's been lying to him. Anyway, she's like, I can explain. Well, the king's like, shh, I'll do that for you. The king goes on to tell Locke how she was only instructed to get information about him, not to force him to fall in love with her. And Locke's like, she didn't force me to fall in love with her, like she hasn't done that to me, like she hasn't used her power on me at all. The king's like, oh, are you sure about that? But are you sure about that? The king then makes his brother reverse her magic, and he's like, shit. He finds out all of the memories that she's wiped from him, that she did in fact wipe his memory, and he's like, what the hell? So he's fuming at this point, right? This is gonna hurt, isn't it? Oh good god. Ouch. If anyone out there is sadistic enough to have liked that, I hope you're happy. If you don't look at the pore strip after you take it off, you're a liar. I know you do. So the king has Locke's memories restored, and Locke is looking at Lessia like, what did you... He fucking hates her. So he tells the king to force Lessia to get rid of all of his memories of her and him together. Oh, I know. A whole book of them two bonding, and he's like, get rid of them. Yeah, so he makes her... She literally is forced by the king to wipe all of his memories of her and all of his feelings. He tells the king that he won't start a war over it as long as she fucks off, basically. She's banished. She's got to go. She's sobbing her heart out. She's like crying. The king then goes, I free you of your blood oath, by the way. Like, you better fuck off now, basically. So she gets up. She runs out of his office. And Locke's right-hand man is there, and he's like, you need to come with me, you need to come with me now, like, we got to get everyone out of the dungeons, like, all her friends. and we got to go now. Merrick's in the dungeon. Like, why? Well, the king had set Merrick up, made out that he was one of the spies that was also going around killing everyone, just to get rid of him too, because he was pissing him off. She gets down to the dungeons, she goes over to Ardo and she's like, we gotta go, like, we gotta go, and now, and he's like, okay, let's go. The guy in his cell with him that Ardo was working with, I think his name's Vadok or something like that, he's like, take me too, and she's like, no. And he's like, no, please take me, I've got a ship, like, I can get us out of here. So she's like, fine. She goes over to Merrick's cage, and Merrick is beaten to a bloody pulp really badly. And Merrick's like, no, leave me here. Like, the king's blood oath, he's ordered me to stay. Like, I can't leave, just go without me. And she's like, no, that's not happening. She goes, I got an idea. He makes him look at her. So for her power to work, you have to look her in the eye. And he's like, I can't, like, I've been ordered by the king through the blood oath to not look you in the eyes. Like, it's not gonna work. She's like, just trust me, like, trust me. He drags his eyes up. By the way, if you disobey the blood oath, like, you literally die. He's like, she's all like, look at me. He's like, I can't do that. She goes, just fight it for me and look at me. It's a very tense moment, yeah. And then when he does, he finally looks up at her, like, he's got blood streaming out of his nose, like, he's starting to cough really badly. She uses her power to revoke the king's blood oath. She's like, you will break your oath, you will survive breaking your oath, and you will come with me, yeah. So he does it, and she's like, oh my god, and they're both like, oh my god. Here, bear in mind, he had been blood oath to the king for over 100 years, and nobody knew, and obviously he's blood oath, so he can't tell anyone, yeah. So I don't think that's supposed to sting, but it does. It's a Charlotte Tilbury magic cream, and that stings quite a bit. That's not good, is it? This is why I don't do skincare that much. So the four of them, so her, Merrick, which was obviously her companion, but he was also her abuser from the king. She's broken his blood oath, they've gone, and so has her best friend Ardo, and Ardo had like a brother in arms, I guess, in Vadok, yeah. They're the ones that was actually running around trying to kill people for what they thought were the right reasons, yeah. So they've like gone into the cellars, they've gone through the sewers, they managed to get to the harbour and onto Vadok's ship, and they're stowed away, and they're riding for another island, but they've got no idea where they're actually going. The whole book ends with her standing on the ladder from the lower deck of the ship. She's like, she's looking out at Elo, like the island that she's just fled, and she's like crying, she's all upset, obviously, because she's just had to leave her best friend Annalise there, and everybody else that she was friends with, and Locke now hates her and has no memories of her, and she's like, she's in mourning, she's in full-on mourning, yeah. And Merrick comes up behind her and he puts his hands on her shoulder, like he puts his arms around her shoulders, and he's like, just kind of stands there with her. And when they finally can't see the island anymore, she looks up at him and she's like, what do we do now? And he goes, I know somewhere we'll be safe, but we won't be very welcome. And she's like, listen, we ain't welcome anywhere, like, let's go. And he's like, okay, let's go see my friend from the war stories. And she's like, okay, let's go. And then the whole book ends. I'm about to go and pick it back up now that I am like a glazed little donut. But is it wrong that I'm still hoping that she gets a Merrick? I mean, probably, yeah, because she like full on fell in love with Locke. But everyone kept telling her he was a bad guy and he was hiding stuff from her. And he kept making comments like, oh, I don't share my secrets. Like, I mean, he did share a few. But is it wrong that I still kind of want him to actually be bad so that she can get with Merrick? I don't know, but I kind of think Merrick might be gay for her best friend. That is it for this week's Sunday self-care and spicy reads. I hope you enjoyed that absolute unhinged rambling that I just did there. This book is severely underrated, and if you haven't read it yet, I don't know why you'd have watched this to the end, but please go and read it, because it actually was such a refreshing read, and it was only 460 pages, I think. So it's not a huge book. It's quite easy to get through. The second one is already out. It came out in May 2025. And the next book I think is due to be out at the end of the year, the third one. So it is unfinished, but I am very excited to see where it goes. Hopefully it goes in the direction that I want, or do you know what? I hope it just carries on really good, because it has been really good quite so far. But I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you again for watching, and let me know if you want to know what any of those products was I just shoved on my face. Maybe not the one that stung though. And let me know what you want to see next week. Okay, thanks, bye.